with an update on a comeback to WWE and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Taking to social media, AEW President Tony Khan posted a statement from CMLL as it reads, CMLL gives our sincerest thanks to Tony Khan and AEW for the attention given to our talent and our general director, Salvador Lutheroth, in the tapings for AEW Rampage that took place yesterday in Rosenberg, Texas. We wish to reiterate firmly that the collaboration between CMLL and AEW will be fruitful and beneficial to both parties, and that it will be the start of a solid relationship. The opportunity to show our talent on an international stage like AEW Rampage has been an honor and a privilege for us. We are grateful for the welcoming reception that the AEW fans gave during the one-on-one bout that Mystico and Rocky Romero had, which will be aired on October 20th on TNT at 10/9 Central. Explaining her husband Nick Aldis' decision to not sign with AEW, Mickie James told TV Insider, "It's really interesting. When I was back at WWE, there was an opportunity for Nick to go to AEW. He turned it down because it was too much on our family for him to be on the road full-time along with me. Our son Donovan was 3 or 4. I think about it now, and it has shifted. Nick has deserved this opportunity for a long time. A lot of people don't realize he has been at this for almost 20 years, I'd say, the way our careers have gone. It's weird not really being in the same place for long, but I think it's by design. We have to do our best for our son first. That means someone has to have a lighter schedule. Business picked up for the Aldis family in the wrestling world. If people don't know who Nick Aldis is, they will. He is an incredible talent." Going over her time spent in WWE, Alicia Fox said this on Elijah Burke's The Pope's Point of View podcast. "We are independent contractors. They borrow our bodies. More importantly, y'all are wrestlers, either trying to go to the machine or most of us are trying to still run so far away from it. The thing is like they're not the only machine in town, and they haven't been. So what is the nostalgia about? Because human nature, by its nature, can experience nostalgia for the past. No wonder the wrestling fans are like, oh my god, wrestling, no matter where they are. As long as that particular company has been doing blackface and our bosses have been doing these characters, it makes sense to me now why they were treating me like this. For me, I didn't study the history of wrestling going forward. I lived that experience linearly. I did what they told me to do. I drove those hours. I was on a tour bus with my fiance being driven around. I also wasn't bringing camera crews in to exploit my friends on an already exploited agreement." Reacting to Sting announcing his retirement, Eric Bischoff said on his Strictly Business podcast, "Happy for him. I think anytime somebody who has been in the public eye and in a career like professional wrestling in particular has an opportunity to end their career the way they want to under their own terms, that's always a great thing. I'm happy for Steve Borden. I'm happy for the fans who've been a fan of the character Sting for a long time. When it plays out really well and is all said and done, Steve Borden is sitting on a rocking chair in Dallas, Texas, watching the sunset, where he can look back at this part of his career and smile, because that's what it's all about." Bischoff also said this about a possible uptick in viewers due to Sting's retirement tour. "Hard to say, depends what they do. What's the build-up look like? Is there a story leading up to it? How much promotion does it get? How much attention does it get? Remains to be seen. Do I think it can? Absolutely, I think it can. Do I think it will? Who knows? We'll find out." Recalling the hateful comments she would receive from fans following her WWE release, Nia Jax noted on After the Bell, "I obviously can't deny that I get a lot of hatred online. In the beginning, I thought, oh, this will be good, the character will keep going on, but at the end of the day, when you're by yourself and you're on your phone and you're looking at the constant hate, then you're second guessing yourself. I'm second guessing everything that I've done. I need to improve. I need to do this. I need to impress them. The internet is really hating what I'm doing right now, and it really messed me up. It got me into such a sad place, and when I got released, I was like, yeah, of course, why not? I suck. Everybody hates me. There's no need for me to be here anymore." Sending a message to former Impact Wrestling star Sami Callihan, Karrion Kross seemingly invited him to WWE, writing, "I held this title proudly, Sami. You always brought out the most vicious side of me, which always took me to my next level. I heard you're a free agent now. Let me return the favor and open a door for you that you once opened for me." Talking about a movie that the late Bray Wyatt would have taken a part in, former WWE writer Freddie Prinze Jr. said on his podcast, "It was kind of like the Save the Day role and he was going to play a carny. It was a horror movie that took place in a carnival. And he's kind of the guy that helps me and my daughter so we can escape and sacrifices himself. He was so ready for it, I knew he was perfect for it. They watched it and they were like, oh my god, we want to make the role bigger." And I was like, do it. He can handle it. He's a creative genius in the wrestling world, and they agreed. In an update on Matt Riddle, who was released from WWE during their previous round of cuts, the Wrestling Observer newsletter said, regarding Matt Riddle, his people have already been in talks with a number of pro wrestling, MMA, and boxing companies regarding working there. The only two that have come out are PFL and Bare Knuckle Boxing. Nothing can be announced until December when his non-compete ends, and yes, his non-compete does extend to MMA and boxing. Touching on the possibility of The Rock having a match at WrestleMania 40, the Wrestling Observer newsletter said, regarding the stories that WWE won't do Rock vs. Reigns at Mania if Rock wants to do it, what we were told is this: if he wants the spot, I can't believe WWE would turn him down, but after Johnson turned it down last year, nobody is going with the idea he's going to do it this year. The match is not scheduled, unlike at this time last year when the match was considered a good shot. The belief is that Johnson will have plenty of work once the strikes are over. He'll have plenty to do. What we were told is that Rock is not going to come back and win the title. I never anticipated that would be an issue, as if the match was to happen, I always figured Reigns to win and Rock then retiring in the ring. Once again, the USA Network has teased the return of CM Punk to WWE, quoting his theme song when replying to a picture of LA Knight as it reads, "Look in his eyes, what do you see?" Of course, the last time USA Network did this, they commented best in the world to a picture of Nakamura performing the GTS, Punk's finishing move. As it's been previously reported that WWE is aiming to have Randy Orton, who has been away from the company due to needing back fusion surgery in September of last year, back in action by Survivor Series, WrestleVotes added. Regarding the Randy Orton return rumors, source states new merchandise and branding has been approved. Also, WWE will present a large social media promotion and digital material for the comeback. It's indeed happening, likely Survivor Series or that weekend. Revealing how CEO of Endeavor and TKO Group Holdings, Ari Emanuel, views Vince McMahon's role in WWE, the Wrestling Observer newsletter wrote that one person close to the situation said that Emanuel has a vision for how he can use the worldwide notoriety of McMahon, and that vision doesn't include him micromanaging the weekly television shows. This is all subject to change, and if there is a downturn in popularity, the idea of Vince being back in the spot isn't inconceivable, but it's not likely to happen now. For a long time, there was fear that the loss of McMahon, because he was the man who built the business, could cause the stock price to decline. But when McMahon left the company and brand popularity continued to increase, that fear Wall Street once had was alleviated. If anything, when McMahon returned in January, the stock price was more likely to drop, except he returned and brought up selling the company, which led to excitement around the stock and a rise in price. Talking about Triple H taking over on the creative side of WWE, the Wrestling Observer newsletter added, almost everyone would say it's more of a good thing than a bad thing from those with knowledge of the creative situation prior to the merger going through and McMahon taking a medical leave. He was making changes in the show, particularly Raw, fairly regularly. At times they were viewed as positive and at times they were not, but they did get in the way of the long-term vision of the creative team. Much of the talent, certainly most of whom we've heard from, felt it was better when McMahon wasn't involved and were loyal to Levesque. The company's comeback did start under McMahon coming out of WrestleMania, but there's no doubt it accelerated greatly in late 2022 during the period McMahon wasn't with the company. But business remained strong when McMahon returned. While one can point to Raw ratings being well down from last year, that's largely due to football competition being stronger. SmackDown and NXT remained strong in the ratings, the arena business remained strong. Big events are selling tickets quickly at continually higher prices, and many markets continue to set gross records. To the public, the only real difference would be that a lower percentage of what is advertised in advance for television changes without McMahon in the mix. Some still changes that is not injury related, but it is less than before. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.